tonight on Y News. Senators are irritated over conflicting statements of former Lima aide Ronie Dayan and self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa. Vice President Leni Robredo resigns as head of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HUDCC.
Alleged shabu supplier of Kerwin Espinosa, Lovely Impal Adam, surrenders to PNP Chief Ronald Bato, Dela, Rosa. The Department of Energy warns motorists against a certain chemical being mixed with gasoline that is damaging to vehicle engines.
The Department of Justice places online gambling tycoon Jack Lab under Immigration Lookout Bulletin over illegal online gambling operations. And 3 teams, AFP Cavaliers, BFE Firefighters, and MMDA Black Wolves, secure spot in UNTV Cup Season 5's second round of eliminations.
Y News begins now.
UNTV News and Rescue Command Center. This is Y News with Angelo Castro III, Gerry Alcantara, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Lovely Impal Adam, the suspected supplier of illegal drugs to Kerwin Espinosa, voluntarily surrenders to PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa earlier this morning. Lea Ilagan will tell us why.
The so-called drug queen of the South, Lovely Impal Adam, is now under the custody of the PNP Anti-Illegal Drugs Group after voluntarily surrendering to PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa earlier this morning. Kerwin Espinosa tagged Adam as his supplier of shabu in his affidavit and even during Senate hearing on the illegal drug trade. According to PNP Chief De La Rosa, Lovely has already given him details. However, De La Rosa says he is not satisfied with his statements. That's why he transferred her to the AIDG to get her affidavit.
Pareho lang rin sila ni Kerwin at ni Dayan. They are telling half-truth. Yung binibigay niya na impormasyon ay yung alam lang niya na hindi masyado makakadiin sa kanya. Yung makakadiin sa kanya, pinipigilan niya. So right now, malalaman natin yan after the investigation being conducted by AIDG.
General De La Rosa adds that Lovely surrenders because she fears for her safety, especially since her name has already been broadcast on national television as a shabu supplier to Kerwin. De La Rosa says that Lovely's partner, who is a policeman, will also not escape the investigation. General Bato further said they will determine if Lovely is facing other charges, and if not, they will not detain her. Lea Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Vice President Leni Robredo resigns as head of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HUDCC. Grace Casin will tell us why.
President Leni Robredo formally resigns from the cabinet of President Rodrigo Duterte after she was informed by Cabinet Secretary June Evasco through a text message that President Duterte has instructed her to desist from attending all cabinet meetings. Vice President Leni Robredo said she has receiving information of alleged ouster plot against her since he aired her opposition on the Marcos burial at Talibingan ng mga bayani. Since then, there was never a conversation between her and President Duterte. Marcos supporters have also been vocal of their farewell remarks to the Vice President over social media.
Marami nag-warn that there were people around the President, even people in the cabinet, who did not want me there and wanted Bongbong Marcos instead.
Meanwhile, Vice President said she will not let anyone steal her position as the Vice President elected by the people, and she is ready to defend her votes against the case filed by former Senator Bongbong Marcos.
Buong tapang tayong magmamatsyag at magbabantay nang hindi na maibalik pa ang anumang diktadurya na siyang kumitil sa libo-libong buhay noong rehimeng Marcos. Hindi nating hahayaang nakawin ang pagka-vice-presidente.
Her accomplishments during her 5-month term as HUDCC chief include faster processing of housing claims, wherein the original 27 requirements for application have been minimized to 9, which saves 117,000 pesos for the government. HUDCC was able to provide 46,000 socialized low-cost housing as of September 2016. Meanwhile, Cabinet Secretary June Evasco has been appointed to replace Vice President Leni Robredo as head of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HUDCC. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A political analyst believes that Vice President Leni Robredo's resignation from the cabinet will signal the formation of an opposition to the Duterte administration. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
Political analyst Ramon Casiple believes the resignation of Vice President Leni Robredo is a clear signal of the total separation of the incumbent administration from the opposition Liberal Party. Deputy House Speaker Raneo Abu, however, does not believe that the members of the LP supermajority coalition will detract because of the resignation of the Vice President.
Sila napaka very cooperative pagdating sa dito sa ginagawa natin mga legislations at nakakatulong natin sila.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez says that the order for the VP to desist from attending cabinet meetings only means that she has been fired from her post.
Pag tinignan mo doon, ano pa ang ibig sabihin nun? No? Talagang inaalis na siya.
The leadership of the lower house does not believe as well that there's a plot to oust the Vice President.
Bakit naman sa laki ng problema ng bansa natin, pag-aabalahan pa yan ng presidente? Yung listahan ng involved sa drugs, ganyan kakapal,
Meanwhile, some lawmakers see no negative effect in the resignation of Vice President Leni Robredo as a member of President Duterte's cabinet, particularly in the housing projects being administered by the Vice President as the chairperson of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council.
Sa maikling panahon ni Vice President Robredo sa housing, yung housing portfolio, hindi naman binago. In fact, pinagpatuloy lang yung essentially privatization framework.
Again, speaking as a former president, one of my senior officials was also booted out through text. It's been done before.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Commission on Higher Education Chair Patricia Licuanan confirms that she also received a text message from Cabinet Secretary Leoncio Evasco Jr. telling her to desist from attending cabinet meetings starting today. Licuanan assured that she'll obey the said order. At the same time, she also vows to continue her work at CHED. Senators are having doubts on the testimonies of Kerwin Espinosa and Ronie Dayan during their appearance in the Senate inquiry today. Marge Navarro will tell us why.
During the Senate hearing today on the killing of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr., the senators irked by the conflicting statements of Kerwin Espinosa and Ronie Dayan while they were questioned of their connection with each other. Particularly the date of when they first met in Baguio City to get the drug money they said would be used for the senatorial campaign of then Justice Secretary Leila de Lima. Espinosa says he first met Dayan and de Lima at Burnham Park in 2015, but Dayan says it was in 2014.
Totoo po sir, nagpag-picture sila ni Sir Kerwin sa kanyang asawa niya. Anong taon yun? 2014 sir.
Based on a social media post presented on the Senate hearing, the photo of Kerwin, de Lima, and Dayan at the Burnham Park was taken in 2015. For Senator Antonio Trillanes IV, the statement of Dayan and Espinosa are scripted.
Alam mo yung problema dito sa script na ginawa nyo, kulang eh. Kaya sabi ko, Kerwin, alam mo itong mga, dito sa affidavit mo, maliwanag na mili ka eh kung sino ilalaglag mo eh. Sino yung poproteksyonan mo.
Meanwhile, Senator de Lima appealed to them to tell the truth.
Ronie Dayan knows that I do not know you. I know Ronie Dayan knows also that he does not know you. Espinido claims that he does not know Ronie. Ronie claims he does not know Espinido fabricated.
Even PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa doubted the statement of Kerwin Espinosa and Ronie Dayan.
Hindi magkatugma eh. Yung 14 sa 15, 2014 sa 2015. May halatang si Dayan ay nagbibigay ng half truth kasi nakukonfirm yung 2015 na pagkikita na doon sa mga pulis sa Baguio, establish na yung date na kailan nag-check-in si Kerwin doon na nung supposedly meeting nila ni Senator Lima.
However, De La Rosa strongly denies Trillanes' allegations that the two persons' testimonies are scripted.
Ang pangit naman nun, pakinggan na magawa kami ng script. Ang ginagawa namin ngayon ay katotohanan lamang. Gusto namin lalabas yung totoo. Walang tinatago.
Meanwhile, senators are yet to vote on whether or not to detain Dayan at the new Bilibid prisons. This after Senator Manny Pacquiao cited him in contempt for making contradictory statements. For now, Dayan will be placed under the custody of Senate security. Marge Navarro, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Senator Lila de Lima and PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa had an argument during the Senate hearing today over the issue of the reinstatement of Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos as CIDG Region 8 head. Joyce Balancho is at the Senate of the Philippines to tell us why.
Yes, good evening. Senator Lila de Lima and PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa both lost their cool during the Senate hearing today as the two delve on the topic of Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos' reinstatement as the head of the CIDG Region 8. Senator de Lima slammed the PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa for allegedly denying first that it was President Rodrigo Duterte who gave him orders to place back Marcos in office.
For all you know, Your Honor, the President is my godfather sa kasal. At the same time, he's also my compadre, Your Honor.
So
maraming beses na kaming naging compadre, Your Honor.
So siya pala ang ituturo mo eventually or ultimately, you know, siya pala talaga ang ituturo mo.
Kung maipit, Your Honor, sasabihin ko, magpalit tayo ng posisyon, Your Honor, ikaw mag-CPNP. Kung kaya mo mag-implicate ka na Presidente, Your Honor.
Me.
Ronald.
I'm the one asking you a question here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do not argue with me. I've had enough of you. Kayong lahat ng mga nagsisinungaling.
In a separate interview, De La Rosa expressed his trust over the wisdom of the President and reiterated that he is in no position to question his orders.
May plano si Presidente, meron siyang ginagawang investigation at ngayon, diyan na nagkaalaman ngayon.
Senator Trillanes, on the other hand, expressed concern over this new admission.
Very critical yung statement niyo kasi we found out na itong mga opisyal na ito ay coming from different units, inassemble sila.
Meanwhile, a new witness appeared before the Senate investigation today. Mylene Son was emotional when she recalled the story of how her husband, Chief Inspector Jim Son, died last September 16. She said her husband was ambushed by unidentified men days after he refused the offer of CIDG Region 8 Chief Superintendent Marvin Marcos to find an asset who will kill Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa.
Upon realizing the weight and consequences if the project will become feasible, my husband have decided to turn him down, and it made Sir Marcos furious, underestimating his capacities.
Mylene said her husband even posted a message in the social media against Marcos. He also warned his wife that he might be killed soon after refusing Marcos' offer.
Upon remembering my husband's last hours of death, recalling every detail of that fateful day, seeing him on the ground with blood on his badge in his police uniform, lying there lifeless, helpless. The cries of our children when we learned what happened to their beloved Papa. That feeling you want to fight back.
Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos quickly denied these allegations and even named Chief Inspector Son as those included in Espinosa's payola.
Nakasama po si Major Son doon sa listahan na protektor ng mga Espinosa.
Si Sir Marcos naman ang may sabi na nasa payola yung asawa ko. Pero si Kerwin at saka si Sir Espinido, hindi naman po niya sinabi. Kahit yung regional director po namin, kahit tanungin, wala po sa payola yung asawa ko.
Meanwhile, co-chair Senator Richard Gordon says they will schedule another hearing within the year to clarify some details and circumstances leading to the death of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. And that is our latest update here in the Senate. Back to studio.
Thank you for that report, Joyce Balancho, reporting live from the Senate of the Philippines. Motorists are experiencing moderate to heavy traffic along some major roads in Metro Manila this evening. Mon Ocson is at EDSA Philam to tell us why, live. Yes, Mon, go ahead.
Yes, Darlene, let's check the traffic situation with the help of our different live points around Metro Manila. But first, let's check the traffic situation here along EDSA Philam. Southbound vehicles will feel a delay in the traffic flow approaching EDSA Kamuning up to EDSA Cubao Aurora, while vehicles going north will experience light traffic starting from EDSA Mega Q-Mart in Kamuning all the way to North Avenue. Let's check the traffic situation in our live points scattered around the metro. Let's check EDSA Guadalupe. Vehicles from Guadalupe going to Shaw Boulevard will experience moderate to heavy traffic all the way up to Ortigas, while vehicles from Orense going to Ayala and Magallanes area will experience light to moderate traffic. Let us check Monumento MacArthur Highway. Both lanes of Monumento MacArthur Highway will experience light traffic, especially going to Marolas, Malinta in Valenzuela, and for those going to EDSA Recto Avenue. Let us check Magsaysay Boulevard, corner G. Araneta. Vehicles going to Cubao from Santa Mesa will experience moderate traffic, while those going to Nagtahan Bridge will expect light to moderate traffic this evening. Reminders to motorists, numbered coding will be implemented tomorrow starting from 7 a.m. up to 8 p.m. All vehicles with plate numbers ending in numbers 3 and 4 is prohibited in all major roads in Metro Manila. And that's our live traffic update. Back to you, Darlene.
Thank you, and that's Mon Ocson reporting live from EDSA Philam.
Next in Wine News. The Philippine Gaming Corporation issues a closure order against Fontana Casino over illegal online gambling operations.
The Department of Health plans to launch a shame campaign against local government units that will not support the government's anti-firecracker campaign.
And UNTV correspondents and volunteers in Singapore undergo basic emergency response training.
Wine News will be right back. Illegal online gambling operator Jack Lam is set to be arrested right away once he returns to the country. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre has issued an immigration outlook bulletin against online gambling tycoon Yinlock Lam alias Jack Lam. Likewise, the Bureau of Immigration has cancelled Lam's investor's visa and is now being monitored for immediate arrest once he returned to the country. PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald De La Rosa said they are now coordinating with the Interpol to track Lam's whereabouts. At present, there is no chance to arrest illegal online gambling operator Jack Lam, who is believed to be behind the illegal online gambling gaming operation at Fontana and Fort Ilocandia, where more than 1,300 illegal Chinese workers were arrested on November 25. De La Rosa stated confirmed Lam can be arrested for allegedly committing economic sabotage and bribery.
Hintayin, makabalik siya dito. Hintayin. O hindi ba tayo makapag-coordinate doon sa Macau o sa Hong Kong o sa China law enforcement agencies dahil right now wala pa siyang warrant of arrest na na-issue against sa kanya. So hindi tayo makalapit sa Interpol para ipalagay siya sa red notice.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR has issued a closure order to Fontana Casino in Clarkfield, Pampanga. Also included in the order are its branches Fontana Casino in Fort Ilocania and Lawag City. Though the facilities are heavily guarded, the detained Chinese nationals are in safe condition. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The NBI Anti-Organized Transnational Crime Division arrested a woman who was selling gold bars to a Japanese national. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
NBI operatives arrested this woman in an entrapment operation in Makati City after a Japanese national sued her for estafa. The suspect, Marlene Benaventura, allegedly offered to sell 52 gold bars to the unnamed Japanese complainants. They had a deal in Singapore after the suspect showed documents and several pieces of gold, and the complainant paid 50 million yen in advance, which is equivalent to 22 million pesos. The gold bars should have been delivered last October, but instead, after a month, the suspect demanded additional 3 million pesos, which led the complainant to conclude that he is being cheated.
Sa maraming experience na natin, hindi naman totoo ang mga to. Kuminsan nga, ginagawa nila dyan, mga fake na gold bars ang binibenta nila.
The suspect refused to grant an interview, saying she wants to talk to her lawyer first, but insisted she has a legitimate business. NBI says the woman indeed has legitimate transactions, but has already duped 9 other Japanese nationals. Authorities caution the public not to easily trust gold sellers.
Dapat magduda na sila kasi kung gusto mong bumili ng ginto, punta ka sa Central Bank. Yun ang mga authorized sellers ng gold bullions dito sa ating bansa, no?
Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
This serves as a warning to motorists. The Department of Energy has found a chemical being mixed in gasoline that can damage vehicle engines. Monokson will tell us why.
The Energy Department has discovered methanol being mixed in gasoline bought in certain gas stations. Methanol is a kind of chemical that is proven damaging to vehicles and at the same time harmful to human health.
It is dangerous, no? Corrosive ang effect sa makina at hindi mo manonotice. And also based on the European Car Association o Manufacturers Association, meron silang report. Dangerous din yan for humans. Pag in-inhale mo, delikado.
DOE is further investigating to detect the source of the methanol being mixed in gasoline. Thus, the department advises motorists to fill up their engines in trusted gas stations.
Doon ka dun sa suki mong gasolinahan na confident ka na maganda yung kalidad ng kanyang petroleum products.
Furthermore, the department said all gasoline stations proven to have been mixing methanol will be fined and penalized. Meanwhile, oil companies are demanding to lower the price of ethanol in order to reduce the price of petroleum products by 4 pesos. Ethanol is a chemical produced from sugar cane and is mixed to gasoline. A locally produced ethanol costs 64 pesos, while the imported kind costs only 25 pesos. A law exists in the country wherein it says that purchasers must first consume all locally made ethanol before they are allowed to import from other countries. The country can produce 250 million liters of ethanol versus the annual demand of 500 million liters.
No choice ka, hindi ka makakagamit ng ibang ethanol maliban kung nasatisfy mo muna yung local, which is not fair because pursado ka regardless of price.
The Energy Department will first consult affected parties to study the law before doing amendments. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Health will use a shame campaign against local government units that will not support the anti-firecracker campaign of the national government. Rosa will tell us why.
Metro Manila has the highest number of firecracker-related injuries in 2015, according to the report of Department of Health. Out of 932 firecracker-related cases from December 21, 2015 to January 5, 2016, 523 are from Metro Manila. Second is from Western Visayas and third from Ilocos Region. And what is more alarming is that most victims are children aged 15 years below. According to Health Secretary Pauline Obial, on January 5, 2017, the Department of Health will name which local government units did not cooperate with the anti-firecracker campaign of the government. This will be based on the reported number of firecracker-related injuries in each assigned area.
Ilalabas po namin yung statistics kung sino yung LGU na hindi tumulong sa kampanyang ito. Yung LGU with the most number of injuries.
There's no executive order or EO yet signed by President Rodrigo Duterte to ban or regulate the use of firecrackers throughout the country this year. However, the President has already mentioned of his plan to issue an EO in April or May 2017 to restrict the use of firecrackers in the country. Meanwhile, Secretary Obial said the DOH is intensifying its anti-firecracker campaign to encourage the LGUs to have their own designated places for fireworks display. DOH has already started its campaign in communities and schools and encourages the public to use alternative noise makers.
Sa ibang bansa po, walang nagpapaputok na individual. Ang lahat po ng fireworks ay community and regulated. Yung mga may training lang po ang nagpapaputok.
For now, according to the DOH, Marikina City has committed its plan to set up a community fireworks display. Rosa, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Around 200 information officers from various government agencies convened today at the first Asia Data Piracy Summit. Joanna will tell us why.
The newly created National Privacy Commission has gathered around 200 government information security officers to help public agencies effectively comply with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. During the first Data Privacy Summit held today, information security officers were taught with different methods on how to protect the privacy of personal information of each public office. Among the topics discussed were managing personal data breach, data sharing and privacy protection, and other processes that will help to prevent from being hacked or personal data breach of a specific website.
Gobyerno ang pinakamalaking kolektor ng personal information sa bansa. Ang inyong personal data, no, ay isang national asset. Okay? Ito po ay isang national asset at nilalaman nito, no, ang buong, sasabi natin, ang buong populasyon, no, ang katauhan, no, ng buong populasyon natin, no. So kailangan itong pangalagaan.
Last March 2016, 2 months before the elections, the COMELEC's website was hacked and voters were not able to access the registration. Several cases of bank robberies were also recorded by the authorities after the hackers manipulated some of the bank's website. In line with this, the Commission has warned those who are doing this kind of modus on stricter fines and penalties being imposed under the law. Under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, persons who are processing personal information for purposes not authorized by the data subject might be imprisoned from 1 to 2 years and to pay fine amounting from 500,000 up to 2 million pesos.
Huwag niyo na pong ituloy yan dahil kapag ho kayo ay nag-hack at ito po ay napatunayan na mag-involving personal information, then you will be meted the full extent of yung punishment under the law.
Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Quezon City Council has filed 2 separate legislations granting tax discounts of up to 10% to senior citizens and solo parents who are legitimate property owners. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
The additional discount on annual payment of real property tax will greatly benefit senior citizens of Quezon City, majority of whom depend solely on their monthly pension, which in most cases is not even enough to cover their daily needs, particularly medicines. To qualify for the tax discount, the residential property should be the senior citizen's actual residence and that the senior citizen is registered with the Office of the Senior Citizen Affairs of Quezon City. If the senior citizen has multiple properties, the 10% discount on RPT shall only apply to the one where he or she actually lives, according to the draft ordinance. The same also goes for proposed Ordinance 20cc-176 that seeks to grant an additional 5% RPT discount to solo parents who are registered owners of residential properties as indicated in the real property tax declarations.
Said 500% increase will be on the fair market value, not on the payments to be made by our citizenry. Yes, there will be an increase in the payments, but not to that extent. But the 500% increase is only to the property of the fair market value of each property.
Reyes has earlier said that the proposed ordinance will still undergo many revisions before it is finalized and approved by the Council for possible implementation next year, barring any hitches.
Yung 2.5% po kasi na tax rate, yung 1% dyan, automatically sa Special Educational Fund mapupunta. So that will be used to construct new school buildings all over the city. And yung 1.5% na natitira, 30% of which goes to the barangay, and then the 70% will be to the general fund.
Lahat po ng mga ginawa namin pagbabago sa original na bersyon na ibinigay po sa amin bilang pagpatunay po na lahat po ng mga hinaing ng mga taong bayan na amin pong napakinggan noong nakaraang 29 na public consultation ay amin pong binibigyan ng pansin.
Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
In line with Kuya Daniel Razon's advocacy, the correspondents and volunteers of UNTV Singapore underwent an emergency response training with the Singapore Civil Defense Force. Aga Kakbay will tell us why.
The correspondents and volunteers of UNTV Singapore underwent first aid training in line with Kuya Daniel Razon's Tulong Muna Bago Balita advocacy. The Community Emergency Preparedness Program, which covered basic first aid skills, administering cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR and fire safety training, was led by the Singapore Civil Defense Force on Friday. The importance of knowing the proper way of administering first aid treatment to save lives, especially during unexpected situations. After the sit-down lecture, an actual application followed, wherein every participant was given the opportunity to conduct emergency procedures. Each of the 25 participants received a certificate of training after the program.
Basic first aid, kailangan po natin yun sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. At ang CPR, at ang aide din po, at ang fire regulation po, at paano po mag-extinguish ng fire. During the shoot or while gathering the news, meron pong nangangailangan na at least first aid, may tutulong po tayo.
Ngayon, hindi na lang ako cameraman dahil nag-undergo ako ng training sa rescue. So, hindi lang ito isang karagdagan sa aking skills. Bali, ito ay makakatulong sa mga taong nangangailangan ng pangunang lunas.
Public service is the heart of UNTV. Thank you for Kuya Daniel's advocacy. We're not only newsmen, but we're also able to help and save lives.
Meanwhile, the Singapore Civil Defense Force expressed their gratitude for the interest shown by the group to take part in their community emergency preparedness program. First aid skills are essential to us to be able to save lives because in UNTV, life recovery is more important than delivering news. Aga Kakbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Singapore.
UNTV's Munting Pangarap TV program and MCGI granted the wish of a couple from Cavite. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Una-una magtiwala sa Diyos at kailangan natin kumilos para tayo tulungan ng Diyos.
This is the faith of Dindo Cagape, a resident of General Trias, Cavite, who fell ill and has been suffering from paralysis since a few years ago. Despite physical incapacities, he never loses hope and always reminds his wife Tess to do the same. Tess, who worked as a lady guard for 16 years, was forced to leave her job to be the breadwinner for the family. To be able to make ends meet, Tess sells various food items.
Daming dito naglalako din, pero yung paninda namin ang naubusan sa kanila. Kaya nadama namin na talagang tinutulungan kami ng Diyos.
For the couple to have a spot of their own where they can sell their goods, several friends built a small store for them. Tess and Dante's simple wish is to be able to complete the construction of their small store and have additional capital for their small business.
Nasana po, itong naumpisa na structure matapos at siyempre kunting puhunan para sa pang-araw-araw namin na gastusin.
Tsaka po, sana po kung loobin naman na umasinso ako, makatulong naman ako sa kapwa ko. Sa mga nangangailangan din, katulad namin.
To their surprise, the couple's little wish was granted by the program Munting Pangarap of Mr. Public Service Kuya Daniel Razon together with Brother Eli Soriano and Members Church of God International or MCGI.
Ang Munting Pangarap ay ibibigay din po natin ito. Dagdag puhunan pa po kay Aling Tess, galing po kay Brother Eli Soriano.
And for their wish being granted, the couple is very thankful.
Brother Eli, maraming salamat po sa Diyos. Hindi lang po ito ang unang pagkakataon na tinulungan mo po kami. Marami na pong pagkakataon. Maraming salamat po.
Leslie Lombowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Coming up, smog shrouds parts of China, prompting road closure and flight cancellations.
Paris's 222-year-old zoo requests for assistance for the restoration of its historic building.
And AFP Cavaliers, BFE Firefighters, and MMDA Black Wolves secure spot in UNTV Cup Season 5's second round of eliminations.
More from White News after this break.
Looking for construction services? BOP Construction and Development Corporation, building your visions into reality. For inquiries, you may call the following. Y News would like to thank the following: Inex Industrial Incorporated, Medical Depot, Satex Communication Center, E5 Enterprise, East Trans Line Philippines Incorporated, JPM Medical.
The northeast monsoon is affecting northern Luzon. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA says light rains will be continuously experienced in Cagayan Valley region, while isolated light rains may prevail in Ilocos region and Cordillera. Metro Manila and the rest of the country will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, especially in the eastern section due to easterlies. No tropical cyclone has seen to affect the country within 24 hours. Storm descends on Russia's Sochi city while more floods are expected in central Vietnam in the coming days. Jane Robles will tell us why.
In Russia, an intense storm descended upon Russia's Olympic city of Sochi on Saturday, flooding yards of seaside hotels and uprooting palm trees. Amateur cameras caught massive waves rolling over piers and highway fences, sending fountains of foam in the air. A small tornado could also be seen whirling above the city. Roofs of several residential buildings got damaged and electricity lines were damaged. More than 500 emergency workers are involved in removing the results of the raging nature. The storm also caused delays in the work of the local airport. In Vietnam, floods brought by torrential rain since late November have killed at least 13 people in central Vietnam, while more heavy rain is expected in coming days, according to the government on Sunday, December 4th. 6 people have died in floods in Binh Dinh province since Thursday, and another 4 were killed in Quang Ngai province. More than 10,000 homes in the 2 provinces were submerged. A cold snap now moving southward is forecast to bring heavy rain to central provinces between now and next Thursday, December 8th. Losses valued at more than 7 trillion dong or $309 million have been recorded since flood began in October, according to the government's report on Friday, December 2nd. The flood-stricken areas are in the north, outside Vietnam's Central Highlands Coffee Belt and Mekong Delta food basket. Jane Robles, UNTV News and Rescue, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Parts of China are once again shrouded in smog, causing flights to be grounded and roads closed. Dulce Alarcon will tell us why.
Parts of China were once again shrouded in smog on Sunday, December 4th, causing flights to be grounded and roads closed. In parts of Beijing, concentrations of small breathable particles known as PM2.5, a key smog indicator, got into 400 overnight, according to data from the Beijing Municipal Environmental Monitoring Center, a level considered hazardous. World Health Organization guidelines recommend an annual average of 10 micrograms. Tourists visiting Beijing's Forbidden City says their throat felt uncomfortable, having been in the capital for just 2 days.
雾霾会让我们这些外地人都会觉得不舒服。我觉得如果是北京人经常待在这种环境下的话，可能身心健康发展也不是很。
Reports said some cities across China experiencing a wave of smog and fog, causing bad visibility. More than 20,000 passengers were stranded at Shuangliu Airport in Chengdu, capital of southwest Sichuan province, on Sunday. The city has released warnings for both fog and smog in the morning, asking drivers to be careful on road. Visibility was less than 10 meters earlier on Sunday, and some flights at Shuangliu Airport resumed as of 12 p.m. local time. According to the city's Environmental Monitoring Center, Air Quality Index or AQI in parts of Tianjin went up as high as over 400 as of 3 p.m. local time, a level deemed hazardous on most scales and which can have long-term impacts on health. The Environmental Monitoring Center of Hebei Province reported its capital Shijiazhuang City's AQI was 500. Dulce Alarcon, UNTV News and Rescue, Jilin, China.
China's foreign ministry lodges an official protest with the United States after President-elect Donald Trump made direct contact by phone to Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen. Amiel Pascual will tell us why.
China launched diplomatic protests on Saturday, December 3, after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump spoke by phone with President Tsai Ing-wen of Taiwan, but blamed the self-ruled island Beijing claims as its own for the petty move. The 10-minute telephone call with Taiwan's leadership was the first by U.S. President-elect or President since President Jimmy Carter switched diplomatic recognition from Taiwan to China in 1979, acknowledging Taiwan as part of one China. On the China's Foreign Ministry website, it posted a statement from spokesperson Geng Shuang.
The warning implied the protests had gone to the Trump camp, but the ministry provided no explanation. Trump said on Twitter that Tsai had initiated a call he had with the Taiwan president. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Hsinchu, Taiwan.
Protesters gathered in front of the presidential office in Taiwan on Saturday. Amiel Pascual is back to tell us why.
Thousands of demonstrators marched against legalizing same-sex marriage, while around a dozen supporters of the legalization were also there to express their feelings. Taiwan's parliament has been discussing a potential amendment to the country's civil code to make same-sex marriage legal. If the law was changed, Taiwan would become the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. Among the protesters was Chu Ushen, the president of Taiwan Religious Development Foundation. He said he was in favor of laws to protect the rights of same-sex couples, but opposed to changing the civil code to cover marriage. Taiwanese University student Shi Chun-yu says allowing same-sex marriage would affect the rights of the next generation.
我们认为孩子们是需要爸妈，但是同性恋者是想要孩子。我们认为要更多的去尊重孩子的人权，不能剥夺他拥有爸爸或拥有妈妈的权利。
Taiwan is regarded as one of the most LGBT-friendly places in Asia, annually hosting biggest gay pride event in the region with tens of thousands of participants from throughout Asia. Mel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Hsinchu, Taiwan.
Paris's 222-year-old zoo calls for help for the restoration of its historic building. June Garin will tell us why.
In the heart of Paris, one of the world's oldest zoos, La Menagerie, is calling for help to restore one of its historic buildings, which is home to endangered Przewalski's horses. Opened in 1794, the 222-year-old zoo is located in the city's Jardin des Plantes, or Garden of Plants, and houses over 1,000 animals and 180 different species. Several of the zoo's buildings were classified as historic monuments in 1993, with the home of the Przewalski's horses constructed under Napoleon III.
Alors ce bâtiment, c'est une des fabriques de la ménagerie du Jardin des Plantes. Il y a beaucoup de fabriques qui ont été construites pour certaines sous Napoléon Ier, 1805, 1815, et puis celle-ci est un petit peu plus récente, elle est de 1890.
But the thatched roof of the horse's home is leaking, and the interior gutter system is damaging the building.
Alors, ce qui est spécial pour un bâtiment comme celui-ci, c'est sa qualité de construction. On voit très bien, il y a un toit de chaume, il y a des branchages, il y a des sortes de torchis entre les branchages. Donc ça en fait un bâtiment qui est très original, qui est très joli, mais qui en même temps est très fragile.
To restore the building, the Fondation du Patrimoine, or the Heritage Foundation, and the Musée National d'Histoire Naturelle, or the Museum of Natural History, which support the zoo, launched an online fund to collect financial aid. Przewalski's horses, characterized by a stocky build and an erect mane, were previously listed as extinct in the wild. The Menagerie Zoo has been involved in transporting them to Mongolia as part of efforts to reintroduce the endangered species into its native environment.
Et donc, vu le succès de la réintroduction en Mongolie qui a découlé de ce programme, on est super fiers à la ménagerie, et moi en particulier, d'avoir participé un tout petit peu à cette réussite. Donc le cheval de Przewalski, on a participé un peu à le sauver dans son état libre en Mongolie. Aujourd'hui, il faut sauver la fabrique qui les abrite. Donc je trouve que c'est un très bon programme.
The Heritage Foundation said the refurbishment costs have been estimated at around 88,000 euros, but the online site had only collected 480 euros so far. June Garin, UNTV News and Rescue, Paris, France.
Japan breaks record in the world's biggest one-on-one break-dancing competition. Danny Tixon will tell us why.
Issei Horii took home the biggest prize in breakdancing when he came first in the Red Bull BC1 final in Nagoya, Japan on Saturday, December 3rd. Organizers say it is the biggest one-on-one breakdancing competition in the world, with a crowd of 3,500 spectators watching the dancing, which is known as a b-boying. Korea, who is a two-time winner and is 12 years his senior in a 5-round battle. The crowd in the Aichi Prefecture Gymnasium crowd cheered on the local dancer who comes from Kyushu Island in southern Japan. Afterwards, Issei says replacing veteran dancer Taisuke would put him under pressure and say he would definitely miss Taisuke.
そうですね。プレッシャーでしかないです正直。正直大輔さんに引退してほしくなかったかなっていうのもあるし、別に俺はずっとあの人を追いかけてやってたのもあったし、いなくなるのは寂しいですけど、自分が一番上になったとは思わないですね正直。まあでももしその位置が僕になったとしたならプレッシャーでしかないです。頑張りますこれからも。
A total of 16 b-boys from 12 countries took part in the Nagoya event, including 3 former champions. Danitic Zone, UNTV News and Rescue, Japan!
Germany has an unusual way to remind pedestrian safety. Jovic Bermas will tell us why.
Traffic
traffic lights embedded in ground are helpful to reminding pedestrians of safety in Germany. This kind of traffic lights especially bring convenience to phobbers, those people scrolling through smartphones on road. Such traffic lights can be found at the intersections where streetcars pass by. The local residents find that they are more effective than those traditional traffic lights.
I think it's a good idea, and I can see how it could prevent someone just stepping on the trams, because if you're going to look down, you will notice them, and I believe that they are helpful.
In addition to perfect traffic facilities, traffic safety in Germany also depends on people's sense. Sebastian, another resident in Cologne, said that drivers usually wait pedestrians to cross the street. When people learn driving, they need to stop their cars if they see someone cross the street. In Germany, the punishments against traffic offenders are very severe. For example, a person who runs the red light will be fined as much as €200, prohibited to drive cars for a month, and deducted 2 points. Each person only has 8 points in his driving license. Jovic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue, Europe.
Three more teams entered the second round elimination at the UNTV Cup Season 5. Bernardadis tells us why.
Dipsy-doo. Wow. Oh. Bato. A jam-packed strike gymnasium in Bacoor City, Cavite witnessed a heart-pounding triple-header at the UNTV Cup Season 5 as the first-round elimination came to an end. The AFB Cavaliers proved they still have their championship-caliber performance on the hard court after toppling the Malacanang Kamao, who tasted their first defeat this season yesterday in the hands of the defending champions, 72-67. For these Cavaliers, head coach Sunny Manukat has become even more confident in his cause.
Una-una, I'm very proud of my boys, di ba? Actually, talagang sabi ko nga, kontra pelo namin yung Malacanang eh. Pero at least it's high time. Pinrove namin sa sarili namin. Kami pa rin yung defending champion.
After the 5-point game, both Wilfred Casulla Jr., who drilled 14 points and grabbed 9 rebounds, and Eugene Tan, who drained 11 markers, 7 boards, and made 5 assists, were hailed as the best players of the game. In the second game of the triple-header, the VFP Firefighters extinguished the Ombudsman Dropbusters in a neck-and-neck battle with final scores 80-73. For this, the Firefighters elevate with 4-2 win-loss record, while the Dropbusters exit the league this season with 2-4 won and lost games record. Gilbert Malabanan and Jonathan Egea geared the Firefighters and were both hailed as the best players of the game. On the other hand, the MMDA Black Wolves has proven their fierceness once again after ripping away the Senate Defenders' chance to a victory this season. Black Wolves guard Peter John Villanueva and Ermel Idria were hailed as the best players of the game, which ended with final score 76-71. This Sunday, December 11, the UNTV Cup Season 5 second round elimination will commence, in which 8 teams, the top 4 from each group, will battle onwards to the semi-final round. Bernardadis for UNTV Cup Season 5.
Those are the reasons behind the news. December 5, 2016. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching. Why News.